Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to dive into global shipping to understand why shipping a package across the globe can often be cheaper than shipping a package domestically. I'm sure that many of you have been puzzled that you can buy something for $1 or $2 from China, including shipping, and then when you try to send a package locally, it costs you significantly more. I mean, it makes sense to think that shipping should be more expensive from halfway around the world than from your own city, right? First off, it's crucial to understand that international shipping costs aren't as straightforward as adding up the cost of each leg of the journey. Here's a real-world example to illustrate this. If a cargo ship or plane carries my package from China to Vancouver on its way to me in Halifax, you'd naturally assume that the cost of shipping should be the cost to ship from China to Vancouver plus the cost from Vancouver to Halifax. But surprisingly, that's not the case. It might cost $5 to ship from Vancouver to Halifax, but only $1 to ship from China to Halifax, passing through Vancouver. Why is this the case? Well, the answer to this conundrum mostly lies in history. In 1874, the Universal Postal Union, or UPU, was established to coordinate postal policies among its member nations. Before the UPU was established, postal treaties had to be negotiated between each pair of countries wanting to exchange mail. This made for an extremely complex and overlapping system of mail delivery. Treaties could take years to finalize, and without them, mail often had to travel a convoluted path through intermediate countries, requiring separate stamps for each leg of the journey. This changed in 1874 with the establishment of the General Postal Union, prompted by an International Postal Congress. Led by Postmaster General Heinrich von Steufen, who had standardized the postal system in Germany, the Congress established a set of uniform regulations to streamline the international mail process. This included the groundbreaking provision of a uniform flat rate for posting a letter anywhere in the world with a single stamp. The organization grew rapidly after its establishment and was renamed the Universal Postal Union in 1878. Today, the UPU is a specialized agency of the United Nations, making it the third oldest intergovernmental organization. Along with maintaining order in the international mailing system, the UPU has also had to tackle complex fiscal imbalances caused by imbalanced mail flows between countries. Initially, it was assumed that each piece of mail would have a response, so the postal flows would balance out. But as we know, that's not always the case. The sending postal system kept the whole payment, so countries that received more mail than they sent had trouble covering the cost of delivery. This led to the introduction of terminal dues in 1969, a system in which countries sending more mail pay fees to countries receiving more. However, this system has needed continuous revisions due to ongoing fiscal imbalances, and it remains a central topic of discussion at every UPU Congress. So how does this relate to shipping from China being so cheap? With the rise of e-commerce, countries like China began to send more mail than they received. However, due to the low terminal dues agreed upon by the UPU, countries like China can ship to places like the US and Canada at a significantly lower cost. Meanwhile, domestic shipping within these countries doesn't enjoy these benefits, resulting in higher costs. Let's take a detour and look at the United States. Remember when tensions between the US and China led to a trade war in 2018? This situation made everyone pay more attention to this strange problem with mail costs. Weirdly, it costs less to mail a package all the way from China to the US than just mailing the same package across a few states. How could that be? In 2010, the US was a net sender, making $275 million surplus on international mail, thanks to low terminal dues. But with the surge of e-commerce, the tables turned. By 2015, the US was importing more goods through the mail than exporting, leading to a net deficit. The UPU traditionally categorized countries into groups, with wealthier nations like the US in Group 1, and less affluent countries like China in Group 3. This system resulted in higher cost to send mail between Group 1 countries, and lower cost to send mail from Group 3 countries to Group 1 countries. Given the change in postal trends, the US had effectively started discounting packages arriving from countries like China. This didn't seem equitable to the US, so they announced that they would establish their own prices for delivering other countries' mail, bypassing the UPU's mandated prices. In response, the UPU convened an extraordinary Congress, a special meeting in September 2019, only the third of its kind in history. Following intense deliberation, the UPU consented to allow countries to set their own delivery prices, up to 70% of what it would cost to send the same package domestically. Put this into perspective. Imagine you're mailing a package within your own country, and it costs $10. According to the newly agreed rule, When your country receives a package from abroad to deliver within its borders, it could charge up to $7 for handling and delivering your international package. However, this marked change wasn't to be immediate. To prevent a sudden shock to the system, the UPU decided to gradually implement this rule over a 4-year period, from 2021 to 2025. The United States wanted to implement the change faster, so they carved out an exception that only applied to themselves. Countries that receive over 75,000 tons of mail could opt to implement these new rules faster, from July 2020. However, the US had to agree to pay the UPU $8 million annually for 5 years. This pivotal decision significantly impacted the cost of sending mail and packages globally. So the next time you order something online from another country, remember the extensive debate and compromise that went into getting that package to your doorstep.